I am the Manly Digger.
Good afternoon, morning, or evening. I'm the Manly Digger, and this is another addition to a Boozy Taste of Maine. I've reviewed two different distilleries in Maine. There's multiple different distilleries in Maine, thank goodness. There are two in this video. The first distillery is the Fort Distillery. The first distillery that I'm going to review is in Biddeford, Maine. Biddeford is was a mill town. It still kind of is. Biddeford isn't really a touristy kind of place, or hasn't been in the past, but it's getting there. The past 10 years, especially in Maine, they've taken all these old mill buildings and attempted to make them into other businesses. And that's what's happening in Biddeford. It's a success. There's multiple other businesses that are in this larger complex. This is a bird's eye view of the mill during 1906. It's a postcard, but it gives you a better idea why I was having an issue trying to describe this place. It's known as the Peppermill Campus. It's been around since the 1700s. Not the mill, but that spot has been a mill since the 1700s easily. Definitely 1800s. It's 36 acres of mill buildings, multiple different buildings dating back to the mid to late 1800s. The newest building that was built in the 40s. There's an astounding number of buildings that are on the historic registry. The mill started actually being built. It started on an island between Saco and Biddeford. The mill and the facilities that are part of the mill, it holds two different borders. With one of them is Saco and one of them is Biddeford. It's just a large complex, very large complex. This is what they call a lagoon. Early on, they realized that water can be used to power the manufacturing and the process, the milling process. So they built underground canals to use the water for power. I am also reviewing the Wiggly Bridge Distillery in on York Beach. York is it is southern Maine. It's an amazing distillery. And at the end of this video, I'm going, not a gear review, but the gear that I just received for next detecting season, or underwater detecting, I guess, or snorkeling, or whatever you want to call it. I'm excited. I cannot wait. Mainly dig out. Fort Distillery in Biddeford, Maine is it's an amazing distillery. I've only had the rye whiskey, and I'll talk about the rye whiskey. It's in Biddeford, which is, if you look at Biddeford has a history of being a kind of a rough town. It's Saco's sister town, and Saco's kind of a touristy place. Biddeford is not. It's getting there though. It has some decent restaurants, but it still has that mill town feel. I could not get down there to Biddeford due to COVID, so these are off their Instagram page, which I'll just throw in there later. So it's this is the front of the building. It's an old mill building. So just to give you an idea of what else Fort Distillery makes for drinks, here's a list. Here's their drink list. Like many other companies or distilleries, they've started to distill or make hand sanitizer and hand sanitizer refills. So that's because of COVID. So that is kind of I think that's cool. I've mentioned before that the building was a mill and they've refurbished it. It's a large building, so I don't know how much of the building they own or the distillery is a part of, but it's cool the inside's really cool, and I like to see what they've done with it. It's a very awesome atmosphere. I have only had the rye, and it was really good. I mean, it's different than any rye whiskey that I've had before. It's a different taste. Really good, especially if it's cold. You put it in the fridge, couple ice cubes in there. I like this whiskey, this rye whiskey cold. It's different. I will say it's different than any other rye whiskey that I've had. Also, I'm a huge fan of labels, marketing, stuff like that. And this just says Biddeford because Biddeford is a mill town, but 40% alcohol volume and 80 proof. It was awesome, and it's something I wouldn't drink all the time, but I definitely would want to drink again. The next distillery I'm going to be talking about is the Wiggly Bridge Distillery. I have actually never been to these. There's 2 locations, both of them in New York. I've never been to this distillery. I've only tasted their whiskey. And there's different types of whiskey, which I will go into. And if you check out their website, it gives like a basic understanding of whiskey. Or I should say types of whiskey. So like I said, is located in York or York Beach. There's 2 locations, both in New York. One's like right on the beach downtown, and which is just an awesome place to have a distillery anyway. Great location for the brand, for the owners to own, because people love to go to the beach and they love to drink. This is one of the stills that they use. It's a father-son team that owns the business. The company is named after this bridge. It's Wiggly Bridge. It is the smallest suspended pedestrian bridge in the United States. The first bridge that was put up in this location was in 1930, or in the 30s. It was in the 30s. So this bourbon whiskey is 50% alcohol volume, so it's 100 proof. It's amazing. It's what it should taste like. I can't even describe it. Like it's well worth the money you spend on this bourbon whiskey. It's amazing. 86 proof and 40% alcohol volume. This is the small barrel. It's equally as I like it. I like it a lot. So I actually had to do my own research for the white whiskey. I've never had it. I would just assume it's delicious anyway because it's whiskey. But this is the white whiskey that this distillery makes, that Wiggly Bridge makes. So that is awesome. It's a cool bottle also. Never hurts to have a cool bottle.
I am the mainly digger.
So for New Year, I'm going to start off with my neoprene socks. Sea Avenger diving socks. I've never had diving socks. I've always had aqua shoes, and I still have them. I just wanted to try something new out and see how it goes. This is the Movo GB U70. The GoPro mounts in the middle. You can see the GoPro mount, and then it's just a diving platform for your camera. I will probably use it for a platform outside of diving or underwater. It looks like a good steady base for the GoPro. I bought swim fins. I've never had them. I've never used them. I would like to use them. I can't dive for whatever reason, or it's harder for me to dive. Maybe it's because I'm bigger boned. I don't know. I have a hard time diving or going faster in the water. Swimming. I have a hard time swimming with the full face mask on. And the Subtic X Shot, it's just a light. It's waterproof and it's really bright. It really is. Later video, I'm going to go through all of these and review all of them. I just want to show off my new toys. Mainly dig out.